We all love pirates, from children's books, to the big screen, to the rides, to pulling out the hearts of enemies and eating them. We just love them. Pirates weren't all sexy like Hollywood portrays, like Orlando Bloom. They didn't have toothbrushes, and their teeth had a granola-like texture. Due to scurvy. Scurvy was a thing, yeah. As a pirate, you go on extremely long trips without enough vitamin C, crucial to your mental and physical health. You'd start by feeling tired, then get spots on your body. Your gums would get so weak your teeth would fall out. You'd bleed from your nose, and then you'd die. Nice. So, if you have a DVR, you can follow me into the past, where we will unveil the Golden Age of Piracy. So let me, and here we are. That was a really cool transition. If you missed that, then you most likely don't have a DVR, and natural selection will get you soon. The 1500s, when folks drank liquor out of lead cups, people showered once a year, and ladies would carry flowers to hide the smell. When the term dirt poor meant you couldn't apply for Stanley's steamer, and they would accidentally bury people alive. How did they know that? Well, we'll take a quick detour here, but only because I like you. You see, back then, England didn't have enough space to bury their dead, so they would eventually have to dig up the corpses and take them back to a bone house, true story. They would find scratch marks on the inside of their coffins, and to prevent further incidents like that, they would attach a bell on a string to an arm or a leg. Spooky. Graveyard workers would hear screams and groans from the grave and simply thought, it's ghosts.
They were spirits,
said the man.
I could hear 'em on me night shift. But Paul,
said another man,
what if they be alive?
And they all laughed at him. But yes, it was the 1500s, and piracy was about to be at its peak. A pirate is simply a person or group of people known to commit robbery on open waters. Football fans unite for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This has nothing to do with you. But a buccaneer is a sailor on the run to the Caribbean waters. The word itself comes from the word boucan, which is an easy-to-build structure to cook meat on, mostly from stolen cows. And they would go out there with their boucans, crack open a Coors Light, and every day is a Saturday with the boys, you know what I mean? So Herbert, why did people become pirates? Well, because being a part of a Royal Navy was apparently worse than finding blood in your urine, but sailors were all like, well, I guess it's better than listening to Kings of Leon. Oh, no, please, stop it! But then becoming a pirate means you get an agreed-upon share But then becoming a pirate means you get an agreed-upon share of the take, or as they called it, booty. So sailors would say, I want to do that. I'm gonna do that. Also, the conditions of being on a pirate ship weren't all that great either. You're not flying Pan Am or Soul Plane. Long voyages were difficult because they didn't have refrigerators filled with Capri Sun and Go-Gurt. No, they had to stick to the basics. Salted cured meat, fermented vegetables, and of course, rum. Rum was a free-flowing consumed liquid of sorts that is made from distilling byproducts of sugarcane. Plantations were plentiful, therefore there was a lot of rum to drink and steal for the purpose of, But not only rum was stolen, there was wine, brandy, different kinds of ale, and beers. Jeez, sounds like these pirates drank more than Cary Grant did back in 48 or something like that. Well, you're going to have to forgive me. My wife made a buff bourguignon last night, and excuse me if my voice sounded a little tight. Delicious. She had the great thick sauce in there. It was excuse me. It was an excellent dish. And unfortunately, it affected my recording today, so I do apologize. Let's continue. But Herbert, you would say, is it possible that you noticed halfway through the edit that the read was wrong, so you came back into the recording studio? So you came back into the recording booth, you re-recorded your piece, using your wife's meal as an excuse, and thinking we would all just forget it, have a good laugh, and whatnot? And my response to you is, go fuck yourself. Francis Drake. You mean Sir Francis Drake? He hasn't been knighted yet. Francis Drake was a pirate of sorts, mostly freelance, son of a preacher man. He came out during King Henry VIII's rule And at a young age, he would go on runs with his cousin, John Hawkins, a seafarer and a piece of shit, and learned a lot about sailing. Queen Elizabeth I, a.k.a. the Pirate Queen, worked with other pirates known as privateers, like Drake and Hawkins, whom she would hire to work for the British Empire to steal, destroy, and loot enemy ships, mostly from Spain. She hated Spain. Spain at the time was at an all-time high as far as colonization, the spice trade, and for winning last year's American Ninja Warrior. Drake and Hawkins would team up to ambush Spanish ships under the command of the Queen, because it wasn't in England's best interest to get caught up in the war. No war. Drake was so experienced with raiding ships, he went solo like David Lee Roth and managed to raid a Spanish ship in 1571, and it was like, oh my god, a success, baby girl. Drake was so infamous to the Spanish that they called him El Drake, which just means the Drake, so, you know, not that impressive. Hey, said King Philip II, if you don't punish those boys that robbed me earlier, I'll do it myself. The Queen said, and sent Drake to rob the Spanish again. During this mission, he becomes the second person to circle the globe, and he gets knighted. And everything seemed to be going okay for England and Drake. And, oh my god, it's the Spanish Armada. Well, that was intense. My blood pressure is up the roof, but England managed to win that because they just had better ships. How are we doing, Drake? Oh, looks like he died of dysentery. Henry Morgan. You may have heard of the man, most commonly used on a rum bottle. Now here's the difference between Morgan and Drake. Drake wanted the utmost admiration from his queen and only cared to be the best in the business. Henry Morgan didn't give a shit. Morgan only cared about one thing, and that was money. It's the 1650s and cash is king, baby. You literally become friends with the governor of Jamaica because you can. He was known as a private gentleman and was given a slice of paper called a letter of marque, which gave him authorization to attack and rob Spanish ships with other English privateers and take Spanish prisoners as diplomatic relations with Spain and England kept getting worse. War. What's next? Said Morgan, and as he was checking off his list of quests, he figured he'd have time to raid Portobello in Panama. So they go in, take some of the castles, and Morgan bangs out an email to the president, Don Agustin, saying, I'd like to sell your city back to you for 350,000 pesos. Thank you, Captain Morgan. Don rudely had the audacity to not even respond to his email, and instead decided to take it back by force. Conceder la derrota. Don follows up Morgan's email and says, hey, let's do 100,000. And Morgan became an overnight celebrity. And bing bada boom, let's attack Cartagena. But hold up, it's emergency meeting time. And Morgan and all the other captains met on the HMS Oxford and started talking business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
And
rum
booty
and gold.
But that ship fucking... And the Oxford explodes mid-meeting like a goddamn Alfred Hitchcock surprise attack. There goes my blood pressure once again. My wife tells me I should relax, but how could I? It came out of nowhere. There was some gunpowder just lying there and something caused it to spark, and none of the captains survived, except Morgan, of course, because he's the protagonist, and it was just a convenient thing for the screenplay of his life. So the story moves on. There goes the attack of Cartagena, but he ended up raiding Maracaibo and Gibraltar, and then conquered Panama and said, the spice is nice. And he retired, got extremely hammered, knighted, and shared his legacy all before The Price is Right at 8 p.m. Spain and England even signed for peace. Henry Avery. There were pirates that followed the rules of the state. It was only fair for there to be pirates that did not. Henry Avery was one of these pirates, and he was known as the King of Pirates. In 1695, Avery managed to board and steal $108 million in jewels and 25 copies of Hidalgo on HD DVD from the Grand Ruler of India, Aurangzeb, while they were on their way to Mecca. And they put up a bounty on him for £1,000.
That's all I'm doing.
And he was never heard or seen from again after that, and the treasure has never been found. This spread quickly all over pirate subreddit at the time and just exploded in the media. I mean, everyone wanted to be a pirate after that. I remember back in 76,
Are you sick and tired of your local government following all the rules while all you want to do is extort and pillage your way overseas? Take a trip to the Bahamas, where you can visit the Republic of Nassau, founded by Henry Avery himself. A painless and smooth transition from bootlicking privateer to swashbuckling pirate. Don't have a job? Congratulations, you're hired. Don't have a license to be a pirate? Neither do we, asshole. Come on down to the Republic of Nassau.
They're invading! They're invading!
Okay, they're gone. I think we're okay.
They're back! They're back! Okay, we're... okay.
Okay, we're good.
King Charles II is dead. Who's taking the throne? There is no clear next of king. Who is... Oh, it's King Philip V of Spain. No, we don't agree. We don't agree. War.
Please stop.
And boom, and fling, and flash. And the privateers love this.
That was a good time.
Lots of pirates joined forces with the Allies, including Henry Jennings, but only for 15 minutes. And then every privateer was out of a job with a handful of treaties, including this one. Most said fuck it and became a full-on pirate. And they all went to...
the Republic of Nassau. Kick back. It's mojito time. We've got legends like Henry Jennings and Benjamin Hornigold.
Benjamin Hornigold was a mentor to one of the most feared pirates in history, Edward Teach, or as the normies call him, Blackbeard. Quite possibly the most theatrical out of the bunch, Blackbeard was all about showmanship.
Very short distance. A long way he's made it. Oh.
And scare tactics, boarding ships with sparklers attached to his beard, multicolored ribbons, scaring the absolute shit out of their rivals, giving up their ships and valuables with ease. Teach fought under England during Queen Anne's War as a privateer. Queen Anne, you might remember her as the queen from the Oscar-nominated film The Favorite, if you guys were wondering. But gave that up and retreated to
Nassau
with the other pirates, leading to the naming of his next ship, Queen Anne's Revenge. Let's talk flags. I knew you guys wanted you guys in the comment section below, we're so excited to hear about this. Okay. What pirate symbol comes to mind when thinking of pirates? Anyone? That's right. People of the 18th century feared this scum because of its dry consistency, and the 18th century throat couldn't handle it at the time. But other than that, we have the most classic of the bunch. The flag of Calico Jack, which is a skeleton wanting to get into a fight, but its other skeleton friends hold it back with two swords, because in reality, you and I both know it's not willing to fight. Thomas Tew's flag was pretty on the nose as far as message, and would piss off Charlie Kaufman for that reason. Maybe just remove the sword and do this. Now it's like, what's the motive really? We've got Bartholomew Roberts with a skeleton having some laughs, saying, This guy right here. A picture my nephew drew with Francis Spriggs and Edward Lowe's flag, and Edward Teach's flag with a White Walker stabbing the heart of the Game of Thrones community. Mary Read was raised as a boy, joined the army and disguised herself as a man. She met her husband, they ran away together, and he died of disease, as you do in the 1700s. She rejoined the army and her ship was captured by Calico Jack, who forcefully took her in as a pirate, but she liked the pirate's life. She met Anne Bonny on Calico's ship, and they cracked open a cold one. Women were considered bad luck on ships, but Anne Bonny wasn't having that shit, and she roundhouse-kicked a breaching whale just to prove to them the insanity that is this program. Anne Bonny, as well as Mary Read, would often disguise themselves as men and fight alongside their mates most of the time without their rivals knowing. Bonny had a little flair in that any man she would kill, she would expose her breast to them just moments before they were executed. Outstanding move. She was pretty serious with old Captain Calico and even bore a child with him. It all came crashing down in the middle of the night by reality. They arrested everyone on board while they were sleeping, and they sat them down like children and said, "You can't play dress up forever," and hung every single one of them, except Bonny and Mary since they were praised. When Calico was scheduled to hang, Bonny turned to him and said this spicy line, "Had you fought like a man, you need not have been hanged like a dog." And the entire operation came crashing down pretty much all in an instant. Blackbeard was cornered in Ocracoke Island by Lieutenant Robert Maynard. They used small boats called sloops to approach the island instead of bigger vessels like the Man-O-War. They stood side by side and had a brief but civil discussion until the blaze of fury let out from Teach and his men. Maynard and his men went below deck to avoid fire, but they all rushed Teach and his men as soon as they boarded, and they were victorious with 0 casualties. That's fantastic. By 1717, King George I sent out a message to all pirates known as the Proclamation for Suppressing Pirates, stating that if they gave up piracy by September of 1718, they could be completely pardoned and have the opportunity to live a regular life. And mostly everyone involved took the deal.
It's called influencing, Bella.
And hung up their hats.
And I'm doing it.
Including Benjamin Hornigold, who became a pirate bounty hunter for his remaining years. But not Charles Vane. No. Vane continued to fight to defend.
Get off me! Get off me!
Okay. But not Stede Bonnet.
That's it. That's all the pirates.
Okay, I guess that's the end of that.